The second trip or the second adventure is about to begin. Here we will know in depth each of the times of this company. The first effort, called the Separate Journeys, arose during the years 1301 and 1312. Their each voyages were organized by a particular number of subscribers and one subject to the return of the ships to establish their game. Such journeys were made the Moluccan Island archipelago, bringing with them pepper and spices, which offer a lot of profitability. During this first period, 9 trips were made. The first trip in April 22, 1601, 4 ships depart from the port of Torbay under the command of Captain James Lancaster, carrying basic foodstuffs like cloth, lead, zinc, cultural drugs, among others. On June 5 in 1602, they arrived at Sumatra, specifically at Aceh, where they were welcomed by the king. They then arrived in Banten, specifically on the island of Java, where unfortunately they did not get good merchandise for navigation because of the bad season. Finally, he returned to England in 1603, where the plague broke out in London, and no profit could be made from the activities carried out until 1609.
Created using Powtoon.
The second trip was planned due to the need to emerge economically. This trip was under the command of Captain Sir Henry Middleton, participating with the same 4 ships the first trip. They sailed from the Gravesend in March 1604. They arrived in different places in Banten, Ternate, Tidore, and the Isle of Amber. There, they were loaded with pepper and returned to England in 1606, peacefully losing a bet on the way. Like the first trip, the profits of this were not distributed until 1609. The third trip consisted of 3 ships under the command of Captain William Killian. The ship sailed from Tilbury on March 17, 1607, reaching to Madagascar and dispersing. There they managed to load their boats with pepper and cloth. They finally returned to England between 1609 and 1610. During the fourth trip, the company only had the opportunity to send 2 boats to the low capital invest. The ships were under the command of Captain Richard Rolls and Alexander Sharbury. They sailed for England on March 14, 1608, separated by a storm in Saldanha Bay. They arrived in Comoros, Aden, Mocha, and Socotra. Finally, one of the ships was shipwrecked first in the Gulf of Cambat, and the other was shipwrecked on the French coast, as it was about to reach England. For the fifth trip, only one ship was available due to the little capital invest. This ship was under the command of Captain David Middleton. It sailed in 1609. He arrived in Banten and Moluccas to finally return quickly to England and recover the investment to obtain 254% profit.
Created using Powtoon.
For the sixth trip, the company was in a fashion bomb between commercial life. This trip then consisted of 3 ships and a young ship commanded by the captain Sir Henry Middleton. They sailed on April 1st, 1610, and they arrived on November 7 in Aden with the aim of marketing in the Red Sea. There arose the opposition of the Mughals and the Mughal emperor against the English merchants. During the return trip, the ship had to be stopped and destroyed due to a fire. Their captain Milton died on May 24. 1613. His other ship returned between 1613 and 1614, and making short journeys along the way to quickly recover some profits. The seventh trip consists of four ships under the command of Captain Anthony Gibbon. They sailed for England in the first months of 1611. They arrived in Ceylon, Coromandel, Pulicat, Petapoli, Nisapantam, and Masulipatam. There they bought different merchandise to resell in Banten and Thailand. When they were back, they arrived in Patani. Their captain Gibbon died, taking command of Captain Thomas Essington. They sailed from Bangkok in October 1613, sailing to the Strait of Singapore and Masulipatam, where the Captain Essington died. Captain Thomas Skinner eventually took the command and returned with the ships to England on August 20, 1615.
Created using Powtoon.
The eighth trip consists of three ships under the command of Captain John Saris. They set sail in England in 1611. They arrived in February 1612 in the Comoros, Madagascar, and the Socotra Island. They arrived at Badminton in November 1612, and on June 12, 1613, and Hiradu. Finally, the chiefs returned to England successfully on September 27, 1614. The ninth trip involved only one vessel under the command of Captain Edmund Marlowe. He sailed from Downs on February 10, 1612, and they arrived in different places between June and September, places such as St. Augustine Bay, San Lorenzo Island, Banten, and Bremen. Finally, they returned successfully in August 3rd on 1615 to England. To continue, choose another video, please.
Created using Powtoon.